What's up? Coming at you live from Anderson, South Carolina. So here's my talk. How I made 60K plus in the gig economy in 2017. I'm doing this talk for two reasons. Two reasons. First reason, I wish somebody would have told me there's a possibility to make money and to have a good life in a space that's different than 9 to 5 kind of work. Okay? I only do contract work and that is all I focus on. So I want to show you how I do this so then maybe you could start seeing that these patterns and how I do things maybe could help you and move you into a different space, into a different way to think and a different way to make your money. So that's number one. I'm doing it because I want to show you because nobody ever showed me. Number two, my life goal is to raise and help a scholarship fund for undocumented students at Spartanburg Methodist College. Now, my goal, my lifetime goal, like personally, is $10 million. And I always give, even if it's like, $300, $400, $600 a month. So my goal is to raise and help donate. Doesn't have to be my money. It could be somebody else's money. $10 million towards an undocumented student scholarship fund at Spartanburg Methodist College. I'll link a link below if you want to donate any money today. So, and the only reason I tell you my why is because maybe you're able to help me figure out how I can do that, and maybe we can exchange some value in order to make that happen. So let me tell you, how did I get to this thing? So first of all, I graduated college in 2015. Ended up going off to teach in Tulsa, Oklahoma for Teach for America, which turned out to be an absolute disaster. I would say personally that was a really bad decision on my part. It was one of those, what do I do after college? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, I don't want to go to grad school. I don't really want to stick around in South Carolina. What do I need to be doing? So I went off to I went off to Tulsa, Oklahoma. I taught for a while. And for a while, I mean, like less than a year. It was like 6-7 months or so. And I knew that was not for me. Things were just really bad. I think it was a really underpaid experience. It was maybe about $25K a year, which I thought was just the most ridiculous salary. And I think another problem that I also have is that nobody ever taught me how to budget. Like, how do I manage my money? So I was completely lost in that aspect of things. And I think that experience was just hard in general. There was just no mentorship, so it was me alone, and there was a lot of other people that were also first-year TFA teachers that had no idea what they were doing. One thing led to another. Things just got really bad for me, especially mentally, that I got really suicidal. Like, I am not kidding. I will tell you, my friend Cindy, you're out there. I love you. You saved my life, because if it wasn't for her, I would have, like, seriously almost done something so stupid. And I wouldn't be here today. So thank you, Cindy, for saving me on that. Anyway, so while I was teaching, I was like, okay, this is not paying the bills. How do I like actually make money? So I was like, okay, I need to find like a side gig. I need to find some sort of part-time job. Looked on Craigslist, ended up doing a delivery driver job. So I would work from 5 in the afternoon to 4 in the morning, about 3 to 4 days a week. Sometimes I would be on school nights. I was like, well, I gotta make some money. So I would deliver food to people, and that ended up making me like 100 to 150, sometimes $300 on the weekends, cash. I was like, oh my God, I can easily make this like $700, $800 cash a week doing my delivery job from 5 in the afternoon to 4 in the morning. I'm like, wow, how is it that I am making more money doing this delivery job than being a teacher? It took me 4 years of no sleep and just freaking hustling in school to get a job that was supposed to be like the right thing to do and not make any money. I just think, man, that's wrong. This whole pattern of how we're supposed to make money is wrong. So I thought, okay, so that's good. So I got out of the teaching thing and I started kind of dabbling into the side gig thing. And when I was doing my delivery job, it was for this for this guy. He literally all he did was make burgers and cheese fries out of this corporate kitchen from 5 in the afternoon to 4 in the morning. He had one guy do the cooking, and he had two people do deliveries. Um, and he delivered anywhere in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I know Tulsa, Oklahoma like the back of my hand. Like I know Tulsa because I had to drive it, from 5 in the afternoon to 4 in the morning sometimes. So I really know Tulsa. Um, and then one thing and like to another, and then I started talking to the guy that owned the business. His name was Stuart, and he said, I can make like $600 a night without even showing up, and you guys are just here making me that money. After I pay you guys, I still make about $600 a night. I'm like, oh my God, $600 a night times 30 days. I'm like, that's about $18,000 a month. Like you're making $18,000 a month? That's a lot of money. That's amazing. So I started thinking, okay, so I'm the one that's doing all this work for him. I'm not getting all that money. So whatever I was taught about money is completely wrong. You go to a job, you work, you make a little bit of money. I'm like, that's wrong. So I was like, I need to be him. Like, I need to be him. How do I get his money? And it's about making money in small amounts. All right. So that was kind of like my first lesson. That was my first like, whoa, I'm doing this whole thing wrong. Anyway, so while I was doing deliveries, I would always listen to audiobooks about how to be a better person, like how to work on my finance, how to make things better, like how to make things happen, especially in the gig economy world. I came up across this book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Amazing book. I'll also link the book at the bottom of the description. Probably the book that changed my perspective about money and about becoming wealthy and becoming a person that has a responsibility and the capability to actually like be rich. Like, why is that such a bad thing? It doesn't have to be, because the first thing he says is you need to be rich in order to have what you want, and two, because in order to live the fullest life possible, you need to have resources, you need to have all kinds of things to enjoy life. And two, you need to have resources to then help other people fulfill their life. Because he says, life is just wants to express itself through you. And if you have these big ideas and you allow life to express itself to you, it can do so much through you to help the entire planet. I'm like, wow, that's a mindset. That's what I want. So that's something I've carried with me forever, and I still listen to that book sometimes once a month. It's 2-3 hour audiobook. Amazing. Changed my entire perspective. So anyway, I was like, okay, I definitely cannot do this delivery job forever, because I did go to college for, like 4 years, and I spent so much time and so many resources, and not just mine, but so many other people's resources. I really need to do something worth my time with what people have invested in me. So I started reading a lot about startups, and I've never even heard of that word. Actually, never even heard of that word in college. Through this magazine called Fast Company magazine, and learning about entrepreneurship and learning about how people get investors and about seed funding and about angel investors. And I was like, whoa, this is like a completely different world. And coming from a philosophical background, I was really interested in that, because now that I think back, I think philosophy helps me identify the problems and analyze situations. And then entrepreneurship, which is what I do, really, is how I interpret these problems and how I fix the problem. So anyway, so I started reading this magazine called Fast Company, and one thing led to another, and I Googled, gig work. At this point, I was still in Oklahoma. I was still in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I Googled gig work in, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I was like, any apps that would come up, I would just download and figure out what they were talking about. So I came across this app called Pinch app. And I was the only person in Oklahoma to have that app downloaded in it. So the founder of that app ended up seeing that I was a pinpoint in a map in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So he reached out to me and he's like, oh my God, it's so cool that you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I was like, hey, do you have any gig work? Like, I want to try this out. Like, how do I do this? And he said, well, not yet. We're trying to launch in maybe like a month or so here in Boston. And he jokingly said, hey, if you ever want to come down, like, I'll give you an internship or like help you out or something to get your feet wet in the startup world. I'm like, this is awesome. I'll come to Boston. So within about 2 to 3 weeks, I was out in Boston. No idea what I was doing. I drove to Boston. So ended up being at this Pinch app, being part of the team and brainstorming, doing market research. And, it was really short lived just because I think the leadership was not great. And, like a lot of startups, it ended up not working out. But I did learn a lot of it. I learned a lot of different terminology and a lot of different ways on how people make ideas, how they take an idea to a product and service, put it in the market, and how do they get investors. And I just learned a lot of different patterns that I don't think I would have ever learned unless I was physically there. You can only read about these things so much. Sometimes you just gotta go and you gotta do it and you gotta see it and you gotta smell it, you gotta touch it, So showed up there, ended up sleeping on the floor of one of the other girls that worked there. She was super great, and she taught me a lot about living in the city too, because I grew up in South Carolina, and then I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, which they're very small cities, and I've always been used to living more of a kind of carefree life, like rent is cheap, things are very affordable, like you don't need a lot of money to have a decent life. And then I would go to Boston and like $1,000 to live in a 1-bedroom, not even apartment, 1-bedroom, half, like 96 square foot room, share a bathroom with 4 people, share a kitchen with 17 people. I was like, God, this is like, whoa, how do people live like this? Literally, that's why they call them little shoe boxes. So anyway, I got my feet wet with that, and then so the whole Pinch experience was going to come to an end, and I was working out of a interning, whatever, with Pinch out of this building called WeWork, which is an office space for entrepreneurs. So there's maybe like 500 offices, and all kinds of entrepreneurs are there. So people that might be working in the IT world, people that might be working on like a new t-shirt business, like all kinds of people. So I ended up talking with a lot of different people that had a lot of different business and ideas. So that kind of came into my head. And one of the companies that happened to be in that building in the second floor was Fasten, which I ended up working for afterwards. Funny story is, so I was in Boston just kind of like, hey, like this is cool, but this whole Pinch app thing didn't work out. And then my friend was like, hey, Fasten's hiring. I was like, okay. I was like, do I want to stay in Boston? I said, well, why not? So that day, I was like, look, I told my friend, I was like, look, I'm just going to walk into that office, talk to an HR manager, hand her my business card, go in there with like a lot of confidence, and not even think about anything twice, because either way, good thing is I get to go back to Oklahoma if this doesn't work out. So, I have nothing to lose. So I walk into the Fasten office, ask for an HR manager, talk to the HR manager, and I was like, look, my name is Laura. I'm from South Carolina, living in Oklahoma right now. I was helping my friends at Pinch. That didn't work out. I see you need a recruiter. I worked in college admissions. When I was in college, I know how to recruit. I speak Spanish. I speak English. I'm easy to train. I'm happy to start the job like today. If you, I know that that position's open. Happy to start the job today if you're ready to hire somebody. And I said, just think about it and let me know. Here's my business card. And she was like, wow, like really impressed about that. So she's like, oh my God, that's awesome. So let me look at your LinkedIn. Let me see what's up, and I'll let you know. I was like, great. Well, I'm wishing you a great day. Walk out of there, not even really think about anything. And within that next day, I get a call back saying, hey, can you come in for an interview? I want to interview with the recruitment, like the recruiter manager. I'm like, awesome, this is cool. So I get that job. I get that job by by just saying, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And like at this point, I'm not really in. I'm not moved to Boston. I'm just sleeping on my friend's floor in Boston, and they're like, well, if you want the job, you got it. So what do you need to do? You got like 2 to 3 days to get your, what together and come to Boston and work with us. I'm like, really? That's awesome. So I started working at Fasten, and that was a really interesting experience. It was a bunch of Russian people, and a lot of my two coworkers were from Haiti. They were super cool, and I'm still really close to, I would say, one of them. I can talk to the other one. I think Fasten was a wonderful experience because I got to learn a lot about the startup world, have an idea on what it means to work at a startup. And oh, side note, Fasten is it's a company that was because they just got acquired by another company in Russia, and they just shut down literally like this week. So Fasten is a company that they do ride share. Their whole thing is 99 cents. They charge the driver 99 cents as opposed to a 20 to 25% fee in order to give them rides. So it's any other app like Uber or Lyft. So I was working inside and helping recruit those drivers to come work for us. So that was really cool. And two, I got to go to Austin, Texas and help them open that market. So I know how to launch a company in a totally different market. So that was really cool. But anyway, one thing led to another. Fasten just didn't work out. I mean, it was the whole 9 to 5 thing just never felt right to me. And two, I'm not a city person. I'm not a big fan of taking a train. I had to pay so much money to park my car in places in Boston. Two, I got towed twice. I just had to pay a ton of parking fees. The rent was so expensive. I was gaining so much weight because I didn't really have access to kitchen, so I would eat like crap food all the time. I didn't feel good. I was like, dude, this is the rat race. I gotta get out of this. I gotta get out. So I said, okay, emptied my apartment. From day to night, I moved back to South Carolina at the beginning of November in 2016. And I just came home, I came home and I really started thinking to myself, like, all right, Laura, like, what are you good at? Like, what are you good at? Because this whole 9 to 5 thing, it's not working. Like, this whole 9 to 5 thing that other people are doing is just not working for you. It's not working. And I just thought, man, yeah, what was I like in college? In college, I was so good because I was able to, go from a history class in the morning to go to a sociology class in the afternoon to then go to a philosophy class again and then maybe go play tennis for 3 hours. I was like, I love that schedule of having so many different perspectives and getting to express myself in so many different ways in the same day. I was like, if I can find that pattern of doing things, I'm going to make it. So I was like, okay. So I was like, what can I do right now while I move back in with my mom? What can I do right now in order to make some money? Because I still need to make some money, but I was like, I need to make some money, but I cannot commit to anything because I need to figure this out. So I started driving for Uber. I did some Lyft, and I started doing Lyft in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And that did really well for me. So I started driving Uber for like a couple months, and that's not something I did throughout the whole year. That's really something I did like in the first 3 to 4 months while I was back. And that helped me a lot because that bought me time while I could focus on gaining these ideas and changing my mindset and reading books and talking to people and, still having income coming in order to pay my expenses. Because I thought at this point, okay, what were my expenses? Car, student loan, cell phone, life insurance, car payment. So basically like $1,500. I was like, okay, $1,500 is nothing. And I could make that with Uber. Easy. So I started doing all their Clemson games. So I know Clemson like the back of my hand. I did all their football games. So I could easily make like $300, $400, $500, $600 in one night because of search. and that was good. But I was like, yeah, this is not sustainable long term because I need to sleep, and two, long term, I need to use my skills. I need to use more of this. But I was like, hey, this is a great opportunity that's buying me time. So I was always really thankful for that. So again, I still started thinking about this. Like, Laura, like, what are you good at, Laura? Like, what are you good at? I was like, oh, I know. Like, I loved giving college tours. When I was a student at Converse, that was my favorite thing. When I was a student at Spartanburg Methodist College, my favorite thing ever, 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 to give tours of the colleges. Because, I mean, and now I understand why I love the whole sales world that I'm into, because like when I was a student, I loved selling the school. I loved selling that experience and customizing it according to who the customer or the new student was going to be. Um, so I was like, okay, I love giving tours. I was like, how can I monetize on that? Like, who will pay me to give tours? So I did get offered a couple of jobs at different admissions places, but I said, you know what? That's not what I want to do. Like, I cannot commit to something full time because I know I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna feel so miserable. So I need to figure it out. I cannot take anything just because it's gonna make me money. I need to take things that are actually gonna make me money and gonna make me happy and gonna let me express myself in more than one way. So I came across this company called Dwell Works, and what they do is they help corporate clients like BMW, Bosch, Yanfeng, Facebook, Amazon, Smartberg, all these big companies. They help all their foreign workers come to the U.S., give them tours of the area. So I give tours of Anderson, Greenville, Spartanburg, help them settle in, help them find housing, help them get their driver's license, help them get their social security, help them find schools for their children, do all the initiation to help them get them acclaimed to an area, show them, how to live in South Carolina and how to make the best out of the area that you are being placed in. So I still do that. And last year, that was an awesome experience. That made me about 15K. Oh, and Uber made me about 10K or so last year. So just from those two, make 25K. All right, so then another thing, I was like, okay, so what if I was in Clemson, I could be making money some other way. So I came across this other company called Simply Clean on Craigslist. And now Simply Clean, all they do is they have the contracts with car companies like Zipcar, which is a car company that rents cars by the hour to college students or to anyone in big cities. So what they do is they clean the cars. They hire a contractor in the area that cleans the cars. They go out and vacuum the car, clean them inside, clean them outside. And I was like, dude, I can clean a car. I love my car. Like, I love my car. Her name is Cloud. If you ever see her, she's a Mitsubishi Mirage. My car is awesome. So anyways, I was like, dude, I love cleaning cars. I clean my car all the time. I can totally do this. So I picked up the side gig. And last year, that made me about 10K. So moving forward, I did that for a year. Cleaned about 6-7 cars. And then I did really good at that job that now I still have that contract and I still clean cars. I got about 8 cars that I clean in Clemson. Now I also handle their admin side of things. So I handle all the invoicing, all the Zipcar cleaners in the East Coast. I've got about 30, maybe 30 Zipcars and about 600 Zipcars. About 500, 600, I don't know, something like that. Zipcars that people clean. Now I look at the invoices and I pay them and I talk to Zipcar. And two, I helped launch the Atlanta market for Maven and help get that contract and help hire people in order to get those cars cleaned. I've also helped, I did not add the Lyft program. That Simply Clean has another contract with Lyft that they help clean all the cars that are rented out by the week or so to the drivers. So I got that contract and didn't get the contract, I should say. I helped close that sale because I did a presentation with one of the other cleaners that's in Atlanta, and we kind of closed the deal and we said, yeah, we can do this for you. So I do that. So still do this. and help manage everything else that comes into that. And all that's like online work. So that pays me pretty okay, maybe like 2 or 3 grand a month. This is just like one aspect of things. Like that's all online, and then I help some of those car things. And then, so another contract that while I was thinking of what I need to do, that I got was Quick Track. And now what Quick Track does, they do commercial inspections, and they do loan loan verification. So for example, if you buy a franchise, you know that you need like specific equipment, and things have to be like the same way as it is in this franchise and that is in the other franchise. So they would send me to go verify that everything is laid out the way it's supposed to be, that all the equipment is there, that employees are wearing the uniforms, things like that. And two, they do they do some collection. So when people get behind on their commercial loans, they have to send somebody out to speak with that customer to get them in communication with that client. So they'll send me out to talk to them. And two, they do audits for car dealerships. Basically, they take inventory for the bank, especially the car bucks. So what happens is a car dealership will have to borrow maybe like $500,000 in order to have maybe like 30 cars in their lot. And what happens is they'll send somebody like me randomly once a month, sometimes twice, sometimes every 2 months, to go see the cars, to make sure that the inventory is getting sold, and to make sure that whenever that car dealer is selling that car, is sending it back to the bank. And the bank will also give them the leftover or whatever, but the bank needs to make sure that they're going to get their money back. So I do a lot of that, and that last year maybe about 11K. The next one, which is something that probably made me the most money last year, is Sandcastle Field Services. So what they do is they mainly do collections. So it's field service inspection. So what happens is a lot of people get behind on their bills, mainly on their car payments, boat payments, motorcycle payments, a lot of mortgage payments. So once people get 1 month, 2 months, 3, 4 months, and the client cannot reach them, they want to send somebody out in that area to, hey, go check if that person's still living there. Let's see if they got a new phone number. Let's see if that piece of collateral still exists. Like, what's going on? Like, we need some information on this account because we're losing so much money. So, they'll send somebody like me to go gather that information and speak to that customer, and then report that information back to the client. That's always really fun. And I do a lot of those. So let's see. So the thing is, with all this, I made about over 60 grand. It was about like 64. Of course, I'm not going to tell you about taxes. I have an accountant. His name is David Woodruff. He's out here in Anderson. He's helped me figure this whole thing out. And this year we turned this into an LLC. So if you ever see me talk about all the things I do, I always refer you back to my website, LM Field Services and Sales, because I turned everything to an LLC in order to be able to get my taxes in order, because that is something really important to me. So anyway, so how does this all fit together? That is the question. So, it could be like, at 10 a.m., this is how it does. This is how it fits together, because I have a route, right? I know that, okay, with Sandcastle Field Services, I might have a client that needs me to go see somebody in, say, Clemson, Seneca, and Anderson, and each visit is about $30 a piece. All right, so I'll do 3 of those a day. That's $90, and they probably take me like 2 hours to do. $90 in 2 hours. That's awesome. And it might be like, hey, I also have to meet with another client on the WellWorks client, and show them around Anderson and help them open a bank account for that day. Great. I'll probably make like $50-$60 on that. And then after that, I might be like, okay, great, I still have some time. Maybe I can go to Clemson and clean 3 or 4 zip cars and make another $50. So it's like, yeah, I'll do it. So it's easy to make $160, $200, $300 a day when you're combining money from different sources. So my thing is, look, do these people have money? Yeah. So how can I get more of that money? I have to do more of the work. And two, what I've been doing a lot more once I figured this out is these people have a lot of work, not just in this area, what if I could go to another area? What if I could tell them, hey, I'm able to go to Charlotte, I'm able to go to Atlanta, I'm able to go to Asheville, I'm able to go to anywhere in a 300-mile radius of where I live. That's what's made me the most money. Because too, I keep track of my miles and then it ends up being a deduction. But anyway, so it all works out because, it might be like, in the morning I might do something with the WellWorks client. In the afternoon I might do like 2 or 3 of these Sandcastle Field Service inspections. In the afternoon I might clean, some cars. Or I might go see a Quick Track client to check their franchise or audit their car dealership. So it just all makes sense. And see, that's why I'm always in the car. I'm always driving. And that's why I have a mobile office. And maybe I'll make a video on that. Show you how I have my mobile office set up. Because I have a printer in there. I have internet in there. I have a 900 watt inverter that lets me plug in anything in. I can even plug a blender in there. So this is how I made my money. So once I started figuring out that this is a possibility, I started making money. I started banking on my skills. So really the skills that I have is like, look, I love to drive. I know how to make routes. I can make this mobile office thing. Sometimes, like if I go to Charlotte and I have so much work that I can't finish it in one day, I'll just sleep in my car. Dude, I gotta do what I gotta do. I'll park in Walmart, park at a gas station, feel safe, park at a rest stop, put my seat down a little bit, go to sleep, go to Planet Fitness, take a shower in the morning, be fresh, ready to roll. I can talk to anybody about anything. So I'm like, that is a valuable skill. Like that is probably my best skill. I can talk to anybody about anything. And my second best skill is obviously that I have a good attitude. Look, everything is in here. So I need to have a good attitude in order to make things happen. And I'm self-taught. So everything I do, I just have to teach myself. Like, look, if I need me to do something, let me Google it. I'll get it done for you, So that is how I made 60 plus grand in 2017. Now you know my intentions. If I could ever be of any value to you, if I can ever help you in anything, and if you have any ideas on how I can, raise more money towards my cause, which is a scholarship fund for undocumented students at Spartan Methodist College, let me know. Like, let's interact. Let's exchange ideas because that's how this works. That is how we all grow. So I'll give you my email. My email is Laura, Laura, at lmfieldsales.com. Wishing you the best week of your life.